Over 60% of premature engine failures trace back to one thing: not hard driving, not missed maintenance, but the wrong oil sitting in your crankcase right now. And here is the part that should make you genuinely furious. Nearly 1 in 5 motor oils purchased off the shelf in North America fail to meet the API performance standards printed on their own label. That is not a fringe statistic from a hobbyist forum. That is from the API's own Motor Oil Matters testing program, which pulled samples from over 1,800 bulk tanks across the country. Most drivers assume the motor oil aisle is a level playing field, that every bottle under those fluorescent lights has been tested, certified, and approved to protect their engine. That assumption is costing people $4,000 engine rebuilds. What the oil companies will not tell you is that the difference between a genuine synthetic and a fraudulent imitation often comes down to $2 or $3 per quart, and without a laboratory you have no way of knowing which one you are holding. Smart drivers are switching oils right now, before they hit the 50,000-mile mark, because by 100,000 miles the damage is already done. This is Motormind. Let's get into it. Number 8. Supertech Full Synthetic. For years, Supertech was the internet's favorite underdog oil, the Walmart-priced synthetic that oil communities swore could hang with the premium brands at a fraction of the cost. Here is the thing: modern engines have exposed that reputation for exactly what it always was. A turbocharged, direct-injected engine running tighter tolerances than anything built 2 decades ago does not care about your forum consensus. It cares about chemistry, and the chemistry does not hold up. Blackstone Laboratories' used oil analysis on Supertech repeatedly flags elevated wear metals, iron, aluminum, and lead, frequently surging beyond 35 to 40 parts per million after just 3,000 to 5,000 miles of use. Normal premium synthetics at the same interval sit under 15 parts per million. That gap is not a rounding error. That is your engine wearing at nearly 3 times the rate it should be. The real kicker is why it happens. Supertech's anti-wear and dispersant additive package depletes faster under thermal load than it should, leaving the Group 2 base oil exposed to metal-on-metal contact well before you hit the drain interval. By 50,000 miles, sludge accumulation begins narrowing oil passages, restricting flow to the valve train first, exactly where your engine can least afford oil starvation. Bottom line, every oil change interval on Supertech ends with the driver unknowingly operating on degraded, wear metal-contaminated oil for the final 1,500 miles. Do that across 100,000 miles, and you have accumulated ring groove wear, bearing erosion and passage restriction that permanently reduces compression and oil pressure. Supertech is the store brand parachute of motor oils. It looks identical on the shelf until the exact moment you need it to save your engine's life. Number 7. Fram Full Synthetic S. AE5W20. Fram built one of the most trusted names in automotive maintenance on the back of its oil filters. The orange can is on the shelf of virtually every auto parts store on the planet. Then Fram decided to start selling the oil itself. And what the Petroleum Quality Institute of America found inside that bottle is a masterclass in trading on brand equity while delivering a borderline dangerous product. PQIA testing of Fram Full Synthetic SAE5W20 found high silicon contamination in new, unopened product, well above the standard 10 parts per million antifoamant threshold. PQIA flags that level of silicon as indicative of possible cross-contamination with abrasive material or silicone-based sealers. And get this, phosphorus content came in at 712 parts per million. That is the absolute floor of acceptability. One heat cycle of depletion and that oil is in ZDDP deficient territory, where the protective film on your cam lobes and bearings simply collapses. But here is where it gets truly dangerous. Fram's volatility rating means the oil evaporates faster than it should at high operating temperatures, silently dropping your oil level between changes while you have no idea it is happening. A turbocharger bearing spinning at up to 250,000 revolutions per minute depends on a full, unbroken oil film to survive. Fram's volatility-prone, phosphorus floor formula is precisely the wrong oil for any turbocharged application. Translation: the brand that built its name catching the dirt in your oil turned around and sold you the oil that generates the most dirt to catch. Number 6. Warren Oil Company. Private label generics. There is a good chance you have never heard of Warren Oil Company. There is also a good chance their oil is in your engine right now. Warren is one of the largest private label oil blenders in North America, producing store-brand motor oils sold under dozens of retail house names across the country. The label changes. The reliability does not. Independent analysis of Warren-blended private label generics reports a 42% failure rate across product lines, with documented contamination issues and severe batch-to-batch inconsistency. What is in the bottle this month is not guaranteed to match what was in the bottle during your last oil change. Same label, different formulation, different base oil sourcing, different level of protection going into your engine. Warren blends primarily using Group 1 and Group 2 base stocks, the cheapest crude-derived mineral oils with the worst oxidation resistance and thermal stability of any base oil category available. These base stocks oxidize and thicken under sustained heat, forming varnish deposits on piston crowns and turbocharger shafts. Without Group 3, Group 4, or PAO base stocks, the oil cannot handle modern engine operating temperatures without degrading into something closer to sludge than lubricant. Bottom line, a driver who survives 1 year on a Warren generic has zero guarantee the next purchase. Same label, same shelf, performs the same way. Buying a Warren private label generic is like ordering from a restaurant that changes its chef every week. Sometimes you get a decent meal, sometimes you get an engine rebuild. If any of this is making you rethink what is currently sitting in your crankcase, hit the like button and subscribe right now, because we are halfway through this list and it only gets uglier from here. Number 5. Bullseye Motor Oil. Bullseye Motor Oil does not run television ads. It lives in the discount corner of the auto parts store, and it earns its spot there, just not in the way any driver would hope. PQIA did not flag Bullseye as marginal. PQIA did not call it substandard. PQIA confirmed it, outright fails to meet API certification standards. Full stop. Tested Bullseye samples fall outside acceptable SAE viscosity grade parameters. The oil is measurably thinner than the label claims. Inadequate viscosity means the oil cannot maintain an adequate hydrodynamic film between the crankshaft journals and bearings under normal operating loads. And get this, the additive testing reveals deficient anti-wear chemistry and inadequate detergent levels simultaneously, both confirmed failures against API baseline requirements. The destruction mechanism works on two fronts at once. Inadequate ZDDP equivalent anti-wear chemistry accelerates metal contact at the cam lobes, lifters, and bearings. At the same time, the near-absent detergent and dispersant package allows combustion byproducts to accumulate as sludge in the oil galleries, restricting flow to the top of the engine first, which is exactly where lubrication is hardest to deliver and easiest to lose. These are not wear patterns you can recover from. Cam lobe pitting, lifter face spalling, and bearing overlay erosion are cumulative, irreversible damage that shortens engine life by tens of thousands of miles with every oil change interval completed on Bullseye. Putting this oil in your engine is like applying SPF 0 sunscreen. It looks like protection on the label, but you are still getting burned down to the metal. Number 4. Questron Motor Oil. Most bad motor oils destroy engines by doing too little. Not enough additives, not enough viscosity, not enough protection. Questron found a way to fail by doing too much. PQIA's analysis reveals a product so chemically imbalanced that it damages engines through excess just as effectively as other oils damage them through deficiency. That is a genuinely rare achievement in entirely the wrong direction. Questron fails on two simultaneous fronts: viscosity grade, inconsistency outside SAE standards, and excessive calcium and magnesium detergent additive levels far beyond what modern engine designs can tolerate. The real kicker is that calcium and magnesium detergents are legitimate chemistry. In proper doses, they neutralize combustion acids in the oil, but when overdosed, they form hard mineral deposits on piston crowns, combustion chamber surfaces, and exhaust valves. In engines equipped with exhaust gas recirculation systems, which describes most modern passenger cars, those deposits accelerate valve erosion and create pre-ignition conditions that can bend connecting rods. Translation: Questron turns your own engine's chemistry against itself. The viscosity inconsistency then compounds the damage by failing to provide adequate cold start lubrication, which is already the single most destructive phase of any engine's daily operating cycle. Teardowns on engines with Questron history show a specific damage signature: severe piston, crown mineral and carbon deposit buildup combined with top ring groove fouling. These deposits increase combustion pressure, reduce heat transfer from the piston, and eventually cause ring sticking, a failure that requires thousands of dollars to address. Questron is the overprescribing doctor of motor oils. Too much of the supposedly good stuff, and the patient ends up sicker than before treatment. Drop in the comments right now, What oil are you currently running and how many miles are on your engine? Because some of you are about to want to change your answer after you see the final 3. Number 3. Express Lube Pro Motor Oil. Express Lube Pro represents a category of motor oil that does not just underperform, it fraudulently misrepresents itself. This is the oil that ends up in quick lube bays and discount garages, where the consumer is handed a receipt that says full synthetic, API certified, and drives away with something that earned neither designation through any legitimate process. Express Lube Pro fails API certification outright, not on a technicality, not marginally, but across viscosity grade compliance and additive content simultaneously. Here is the thing. The API's own federal enforcement actions reveal exactly how this sector operates. In one settled counterfeiting case, a motor oil company's owners admitted to deliberately faking API certification marks on their labels and were handed a 10-year ban from producing or marketing any engine oil at all. But here is where it gets truly dangerous. A motor oil without proper phosphorus-based anti-wear chemistry, friction modifiers, or viscosity index improvers is not a lubricant in any functional sense. It is a liquid placeholder. Variable valve timing actuators require properly formulated oil to operate. Turbocharger journal bearings need a full anti-wear film at operating temperature. Timing chain tensioners need viscosity-supported oil pressure to function. Express Lube Pro provides none of these protections reliably. And get this, the driver in this scenario is the most vulnerable of all. They did not choose this oil. They were charged for a premium product and handed a counterfeit. By the time the damage surfaces as a knock or a warning light, the bearing surfaces, timing chain, and VVT actuators have already been stripped to irreparable wear levels. Using Express Lube Pro is the mechanical equivalent of hiring a surgeon who forged their medical degree. The paperwork looks right, but the patient ends up on the table. Number 2. MAG 5-star SAE 10W40. There are bad motor oils, and then there are motor oils that belong in a museum. MAG 5-star SAE 10W40 manages to be both. A product whose claimed API specification was last considered appropriate for engines manufactured before World War II. This is not creative exaggeration. This is what PQIA confirmed when it analyzed the product. MAG 5-star labels itself as meeting API. SA, here is what that actually means. API SA is defined as a straight mineral oil with zero functional additives, no anti-wear chemistry, no detergents, no dispersants, no oxidation inhibitors. The API retired SA from relevance for gasoline engines produced after 1930. And get this, the product simultaneously claims to be a multigrade SAE 10W40, which by definition requires polymer viscosity index improvers, an additive, while claiming the additive-free API SA designation. PQIA concluded these two claims cannot coexist in the same bottle. Their official finding, this product is not suitable for use in the majority of automobile engines currently on the road. Translation: running an engine on MAG 5-star in a modern vehicle is the lubrication equivalent of running it dry, just slower. With zero acid neutralization, combustion acids accumulate in the oil unchecked and corrode bearing surfaces from the inside out. With zero detergent chemistry, deposits form on every hot metal surface. Piston rings, valve stems, oil rings, piston skirts. With zero anti-wear film, every cold start is metal contacting metal with no protective boundary layer between them. Bottom line, by 50,000 miles, an engine running MAG 5-star has suffered what a normal engine would suffer in 300,000. MAG 5-star is selling you a time machine disguised as a motor oil, a formulation designed for engines that have not been manufactured in 90 years, now being poured into yours. Number 1. Super Green Smokeless Motor Oil. Here is the cruelest irony on this entire list. Super Green Smokeless Motor Oil is not being bought by careless drivers who grab the cheapest bottle on the shelf. It is being bought by the most conscientious ones. People who notice their engine burning oil, researched their options, found a product marketed directly at their exact problem, and paid for it believing they were protecting a struggling, high-mileage engine. The Petroleum Quality Institute of America's response was to issue its highest severity warning, a formal consumer alert stating that use of this product will, quote, likely cause harm to the engine. The consumer alert identifies 3 simultaneous failures. First, viscosity that far exceeds label claims, meaning the oil is dramatically thicker than advertised and will starve oil galleries during cold start pressure buildup, which is already the most damaging phase of any drive cycle. Second, a complete absence of additives vital to protecting an engine from deposits and wear, zero anti-wear chemistry, zero detergent, zero dispersant. Translation, TBN, total base number, the oil's acid neutralizing capacity, effectively starts at zero. Every combustion cycle deposits corrosive acids into the oil with nothing to buffer them. Third, and this is where it becomes a two-system catastrophe, phosphorus content so elevated it will rapidly poison the catalytic converter's platinum and palladium catalyst surfaces, triggering P0420 fault codes and forcing an emission system replacement that starts at $800. The real kicker is the mechanism at work. The over-thick viscosity was designed to reduce oil consumption by resisting flow past worn piston rings, a short-term cosmetic fix that simultaneously starves the top end of the engine during cold start pressure buildup, while the excessive phosphorus destroys the catalytic converter and the additive-absent base oil lets combustion acids corrode the bearings unchecked. Two systems destroyed, one purchase, and the oil burning problem the driver was trying to solve? Still there, just temporarily masked, while the destruction compounds layer by layer underneath. Super Green Smokeless is the con artist of motor oils. It promises to solve your smoke problem while quietly burning down the entire engine from the inside out. The motor oil aisle is a battlefield between genuine engine protection and predatory marketing. And predatory marketing has been winning for decades because most drivers have no idea what API-SA means, what PQIA is, or why phosphorus content on a datasheet should matter before their next oil change. Here is the one thing to take away from this video. Before your next oil change, verify three things. The API service category starts with SP or SN+ for gasoline engines. The viscosity grade matches your owner's manual exactly, and the brand has publicly available product data sheets, not a store label with no traceable manufacturer. If the bottle cannot tell you who blended it and what is in it, that is your answer right there. Every oil on this list relies on your assumption that all motor oils are created equal. They are not. Hit subscribe if you want the truth about what is really going on inside your engine.